Building a proper Indian curry is an investment of time and heat. You're constantly monitoring temperatures, balancing complex spice blends, and timing every single step to perfection. But that precise choreography can derail in seconds. A moment of distraction, and suddenly you're staring down a pot of scorched milk, a crumbly, unrollable dough, or blackened frying oil. When that mid-cooking disaster strikes, the immediate instinct is usually defeat. Do you toss the entire batch and start over, or is there a way to hit undo? Generations of home cooks have faced these exact same crises, and rather than accepting defeat, they developed a toolkit of rapid response rescue protocols. Salvaging a ruined dish is an exercise in applied food chemistry. By introducing the right ingredient at the right time, you can actively neutralize an error and bring a meal back to life. Let's start with high-heat deep frying. If you're making large batches of poris, that intense, sustained heat breaks down the oil fast. Halfway through the job, the oil turns dark, smoky, and bitter, ruining the flavor of whatever goes in next. To stop that breakdown in its tracks, you just need to drop a small, fresh piece of ginger directly into the bubbling vat. The ginger acts as a natural purifying agent. It attracts the burnt particulate matter, keeping the surrounding oil completely clear and usable right down to the very last puri. Then there is the dreaded burnt milk. Even a slight scorch at the bottom of the pan infects the entire pot with an aggressive, pungent smell that usually guarantees it's headed for the drain. Instead of dumping it, you can neutralize that odor by dropping 2 or 3 fresh betel leaves, often called pan, straight into the hot liquid. Bring the pot to a quick boil. The aromatic compounds in the betel leaves completely absorb and mask the scorched odor, rescuing the milk so you can still use it for your tea or desserts. Surviving a thermal crisis isn't about desperately turning down the stove. It's about deploying the right organic compounds to absorb the damage. Those same principles apply to structure and flavor. Nothing is more disappointing than spending an hour on a vegetable curry, only to end up with a thin, watery gravy. Professional kitchens fix this instantly by grating a single boiled potato directly into the simmering pan. The potato starch molecules expand like tiny sponges, binding the excess water and turning it into a rich, thick base. You can also correct extreme flavor imbalances on the fly. Take the sharp, unpalatable bite of Karela or bitter gourd. It's a healthy vegetable, but the intense bitterness turns many people away. While you're chopping it, drop the pieces into a simple soak of water and buttermilk. The mild acid extracts and neutralizes those harsh, bitter compounds entirely before the vegetable ever hits a hot pan. Finally, we have the structural nightmare of maki ki roti. Corn flour lacks gluten, so when you try to roll it out, the dough constantly cracks and crumbles into pieces. The solution here is thermal. Instead of mixing your dough with room temperature water, knead the flour exclusively with boiling hot water. The extreme heat immediately gelatinizes the starches in the corn. That physical change creates a soft, pliable dough that holds a perfectly round shape without a single crack. Achieving a flawless, restaurant-quality result doesn't require a commercial pantry. It requires an understanding of how simple starches, acids, and temperatures interact on the cutting board. These techniques form a sophisticated system of inherited science, refined through centuries of trial and careful observation. Armed with these protocols, your time at the stove stops feeling like a stressful tightrope walk. You gain the flexibility to adapt and correct your course when things go sideways. You start to see your kitchen as a working laboratory of traditional wisdom, a place where almost no mistake is actually permanent. Every family has their own emergency protocols. We'd love to hear yours. Drop the rescue hacks your grandparents taught you down in the comments. The resilience of the Indian kitchen is defined by these rapid, everyday methods that turn a near disaster back into a masterpiece.